you and good morning to everyone here who attended this morning session. So, yeah, I would like to thank you all again. And just to, briefly introduce myself, my name is Selena from Prospel. And at Prospel, we help universities help you students get the best possible start to your career. So we do this virtual fairs to help you connect with the right employers. And right now, we have with us people from Great Deals E-Commerce, Snapsmart rather, and CloudEats. So, just to give you or just to set your expectations about today's session. So we'll have, of course, some Q&As for our panelists. So this will be a panel discussion, a 45-minute panel session, and then we'll allot 10 minutes for the Q&A. And later on, we'll be hearing from Cloud Eats and Great Deals E-Commerce. Yeah, so hi, Patrick,
Yes,
Raquel,
hello.
Jennifer. Hello, good
Hi, good
morning. How are you
morning.
guys?
Doing great.
Doing great.
Yeah,
Excited for this event. We're gonna be sharing our organizations to this young and energetic, very promising next generation.
yes, very excited for our session actually. I think not only our participants will be, learning some insights from you. For sure, meron din ako, meron din akong takeaways from this session later on. So, why don't you guys briefly introduce yourself and, describe what your organization does. So let's start with you, Patrick.
Okay, so good morning, everyone. Good morning to everyone who's watching. So I'm Patrick Earl Gonzalez. I'm the head of recruitment for Great Deals E-Commerce Corporation. And our organization is the country's biggest and most successful e-commerce solutions provider, enabler, and distributor. We are one of Asia's 50 rising startups. So what we do here is that whenever brands and companies would like to reach their target consumers through the e-commerce platform, so that's where we come in. So we offer our resources, our technologies, our manpower for these brands, for these products to be able to thrive into the e-commerce space and reach their target consumer. So that is Great Deals E-Commerce Corporation.
Very interesting, Patrick. What about you, Jennifer? Why don't you go ahead?
Yeah, so I belong in CloudEats. It's the first cloud kitchen in the Southeast Asia. Similar with Great Deals, we are also one of the top 100 corporate startups in the Asia. So recently, we acquired the Series B investment round a couple of weeks ago. We're currently present here in the Philippines and it's going to open Vietnam site on December and Malaysia and Thailand on February.
Well, congratulations for your new branches, Jennifer. And SnapSmart, of course, we can't forget about you, Raquel.
Yes, hi, good morning, everyone. Good morning to all our participants right now. So, yeah, my name is Raquel, but you can definitely call me Kelly. So, I'm actually from Snapmart Inc. So, Snapmart Inc. is actually the e-commerce partner of Landers Philippines. I suppose everyone naman is familiar with Landers. So, what we basically do is that we cater all of Landers stores. So, basically, right now, Landers, we do have 5 stores. Actually for here in Metro Manila, and then we also have one in Cebu. So we just recently started. We started last 2018. So lahat ng branches that Landers have right now, we are the one responsible to cater all of those. So we are like Shopee and Lazada, wherein you're going to place your order online, and then at the same time, we are also the one responsible to deliver it right at your doorstep. So we also have our own courier service who is handling and responsible to manage all of the delivery of goods. So basically, yeah, that's what we do in Snap Marketing.
Yeah, interesting. For me, no, in e-commerce, there are a lot of, opportunities and learning curves for everyone here. So I guess to our participants, do not forget to ask questions if you have some, just write it down in our Q&A tab. while we go through this session. And next, I'd also like to, you know, ask you guys what's like the most important piece of advice you'd give to the students aspiring to work for your organization within the e-commerce center or sector rather.
So if you're the adventurous type, CloudEats is the best for you. So we aspire and we gather applications or candidates who are very adventurous, experimental, those who want to create and provide solutions. So CloudEats is the best organization for you.
So I guess the advice that I can give to those aspiring students who would want to join our company or organization is that I guess we're looking for someone who is a go-getter, okay, who will always be up for challenges, especially with e-commerce, kasi e-commerce is a very fast-paced kind of environment. So, alam mo yun, and then at the same time, we're looking for someone who is very much innovative. So, if you think that you are innovative and who will always be up for challenges, for different, experimental, who would want to, like, try new things and all. So, I guess this company or Snapmart will be a good avenue for you.
I see. And Patrick?
Okay. If you are aspiring to be able to penetrate the e-commerce industry, you have to understand this reality. Number one, the e-commerce industry is really a booming industry. People are saying a lot of good things about the e-commerce industry, that it's a future of that is the future of retail, it's the future of consumerism, and all these positive things, which is true. Okay, point well taken, all of those are true. However, being part of the e-commerce industry is having yourself be subjected on a demanding, on a very fast pace, on a very fast changing environment, and that's the reality of being part of the e-commerce industry. Okay, so with these 3 points, you have to consider and you need to ask yourself, if you want to be a part of the e-commerce industry, you got to ask yourself, do you think you would be able to survive and thrive on a fast-paced, fast-changing, and demanding environment? Because that is the world of e-commerce.
Yeah, interesting. Talagang no, I mean, sa trend natin right now, especially when we're in a digital world na talaga, very, very fast paced. I mean, you have to really get it, especially for our students here. So, since one of your, I guess your common ground is that your future applicants must be very adaptive or adaptable sa talagang
Yes,
sa environment nyo, sa culture nyo, right? So, what do your graduates or what do the graduates need to do to show that they must progress to the next round of, the application process, the interview process? Like, syempre, di ba, mag-start yan tayo sa, initial, getting to know, and if you already see that that person is amenable to work in a very fast-paced environment, what's the next step for them, or what else can they show to you guys that, they're very, that they can be a part of your organization? Patrick?
Okay, so what we are looking for, people who are expressing their intent of wanting to be in part of the team, is number one, the hunger to learn. Okay, you have to have this hunger for you to be mentored by seasoned practitioners, by seasoned individuals. So the hunger to learn must be there. Okay, and then it's also important that the individual has this sense of willingness to start from the ground. A lot of people in the world of e-commerce, we already came in here and totally we have zero background when it comes to the world of e-commerce. I myself, I'm an HR practitioner. I originally came in the food and beverage industry, and who would have thought that I would land into the e-commerce industry? So the willingness to learn the ropes, the processes into the world of e-commerce, that's gonna be very important to you. Okay, and then sense of adaptability, that's really really important. Just like what I have said a while ago, the world of e-commerce is a fast-paced, fast-changing demanding world, and having a sense of adaptability is very important. We need to see that in you. And the most important thing for me as the head of recruitment for Great Deals E-Commerce Corporation is that whenever I am processing a candidate, you need to make us see that there is a return of investment from us. Okay, you need to understand that if we are going to hire you, if we are going to give you that chance of being part of the organization, that means that we as a company, we still have to teach you, to coach you, to mentor you. And that gives us the question that if ever we're going to be investing to this new person, to this new hire, what's in it for us? What's our return of investment from this new person? So make us see what's our return of investment from you. Those are the points that we are looking for candidates or people who are expressing their intent of wanting to be in part of our team.
Thanks, Patrick. What about you, Jennifer? What are your thoughts?
Mine is quite different because
Mhm.
in cloud this is quite, we are actually the future of food and beverage industry. We're like a marriage between the F&B and an e-commerce. So for CloudEats, for you to aspire to become better, we look for individuals who are very passionate and love what you do as we break the barriers in the food and beverage industry. So we're not the traditional type of industry. We're very unconventional. And again, as I have to repeat it, the experimental part, we're very adventurous. So we like experimenting, trying it out because we'll never know until you try it out and then you learn from your mistakes. So yes, so learning is actually an integral part of our day-to-day lives at CloudEats. So if you're that type of person, then you'll be one of the happiest employees in CloudEats.
Yeah, and Raquel?
Yeah, okay. So just to let you know, guys, Snapmart is actually just very new in the industry, as I've said earlier. So we just recently started 2018. So there are lots of rooms for improvement, growth. So if you aspire to join the company, what we are looking for is, as I've said earlier, we are looking for someone who is a go-getter, and then at the same time, someone who is very much susceptible to change. Because as we all mentioned earlier, e-commerce is actually a very fast-paced environment. So, you know, um, you need to adopt with all the current changes, the trends that the customer is actually requiring, or what they are looking for. So we really need a fresh mindset, new ideas from time to time, and able for you to cope up with the demands and to stay on top of the business. So yeah, those are the qualifications or the skills that we're looking for if you would wish to join.
Yeah. So I guess talagang ano siya, no, two-way process siya between your organization and of course the the applicants intention in joining your organization. But I think yung common ground natin dito is that it's a process for them to learn, to make mistakes and to learn, of course, especially we're in the e-commerce center or sector rather, or industry, and talagang very new, or not new worldwide but very new here in the Philippines somewhat, no, ang e-commerce. And now that we have already discussed like what you're looking for in an applicant, what about those students who will land a job with you? So what advice could you give to them during their first year working with your organization? Kumbaga, how will they survive? How will they thrive? What should they do? What shouldn't they do? And all those stuff. So let's start with Raquel.
Yeah, okay. So I guess if you guys will land with us and be part of our family. So I guess what I can what advice I can give to you is you need to have a tough kind of mindset. And then at the same time, you also need to be data oriented. Because with us, data are very much important. Then at the same time, when I say tough, kasi since there are different kinds of demands enable for us to meet the expectations of our clients, of our customers. So you really need to recall this to be tough kasi the workload or the work might, I mean, there's always a pressure with your work, diba? So what you just need to do is to have a proper time management with everything kasi it might be a little bit overwhelming, especially to those fresh graduates who are, you know, very much new in the industry kasi um, workload might really be very overwhelming. So if you don't know how to manage your time properly, most likely, alam mo yun, everything will fall apart. So yeah, I guess what you just need to do is to be very keen with all the details that will be given to you, and then at the same time, proper time management enable for you to go along with your day, finish your task at a certain point of time, and then I guess what you shouldn't be not I mean shouldn't do is to be sensitive kasi yun nga, of course, alam mo yun, since you are new in the industry and then at the same time work might be a little bit overwhelming, so possibility yan is kung halimbawa your mentor or let's say someone from the team might be teaching you, and then you take it on a different kind of note or on a different kind of perspective, di ba? Parang it's not going to be helpful kasi the reason lang din naman why they are teaching you things is because they already know what's the process, like how things goes and how to be efficient and effective. So yeah, you just need to be open with the things that your mentor or your superior might be teaching you. So just don't take it personally.
Yeah. And what about you, Patrick?
Okay, so just like I think we have already established that idea, that reality, that the e-commerce industry is a fast-paced environment. Okay, so if ever you would be given the chance to be a part of the world of e-commerce, you have to be a sponge. You need to absorb and digest all of these learnings theoretically and life lessons. This is gonna be very vital for your journey. Okay, and again, chances are, I think we're speaking with the population which are soon to be fresh graduates, and I think we also have young professionals. So if you have been subjected into the world of e-commerce, be a sponge. Okay, absorb, digest, and apply all of these learnings. That's going to be very vital for your journey. Now, you also have to understand that being part of the e-commerce industry, it's not going to be all fun and games. Okay, there would be moments, there would be instances in which you would be challenged, in which you would be subjected to difficult situations. And these situations, these moments would be the building blocks of who you would become as a professional into the world of e-commerce. Okay, being part of the world of e-commerce definitely is a tough call. Okay, just like what we always say here in the world of e-commerce, we will break you, and that's true. Okay, not that I'm threatening people. Okay, we will break you. Totoo po yan. Okay, and the beauty of it, of we will break you, is that by the time that has happened, you would be able to pick up the pieces again and reinvent yourself to a whole better version of you. And isn't that beautiful?
True. That is true. I remember to learn, you know, my first ever job, talagang, okay, kailangan i-absorb lahat. And before I delve further into my personal experience, what about you, Jennifer?
Um, everyone said something insightful, but mine is more in the feedback part. So my advice is to gather as much as feedback as you can and use this to improve. You have to change your mindset about failures and disappointments, and instead convert this to a learning experience and bring this every day for tomorrow. So as much as feedback that you can get. So take it as subjective as possible without any feelings involved.
Yeah. So, bale, you know, changing the mind, or no, accepting all of the constructive criticisms, changing the mindset. Like, those constructive criticisms are not there to really criticize you, but to, you know, to make you be better in what you do. And of course, absorb natin lahat, right? And I guess that is those are three things na talagang would benefit the participants here. At least it's not just in the e-commerce industry kasi, right? So all of those things that you guys mentioned, those are very, very important to know, especially if you're a fresh graduate or especially if you're a graduating student. And what about those students or alumni that, you know, didn't graduate the top of their class? I mean, does grades matter to you guys? Or if it matters, is there anything we can do to compensate it? Like, or you're just really relying to the grades of our students. Let's start with you, Jennifer.
I'm a grade conscious student, so I really excelled well in school, and it's the competitive in person in me. So I like competition, but I only compete with myself. So grade is still an indicator, but it's not a qualifier. It says something about your study habits, also how you plan your day, how you prepare for things, and what are your priorities. So it depends on you. But in CloudEats, there are still organizations who are very conscious about grades because it means that they value excellence, they value analytics and very data-driven organization. The habits when you were still studying, you really have this schedule, you plan ahead, you like to read. So those are indicators of that you really are doing well in school. So that also applies in some organizations and in work. But there are also companies wherein they value the street smart. These are the ones that discarded. There's no English word for a discarded, but it's a discarded that one may not have it, and you discover it through experience. So in CloudEats, we are grade conscious. We are also look into how the time you spent while you are in school. So also we consider the organizations that you've been into, you've been part of, because it tells us something about your interests and priorities and what are your extra hobbies, or how do you manage your time as well, prioritizing both school activities and education, like the quizzes and the exams. And also it really tells about many things about an individual. It's not a bad thing, it's not a good thing, but it's an insight of what is it about you that we want to know, actually, so that when you enter our organization, we know how to harness that, how to put that into something positive, how to relate it in the type of work that we do. In e-commerce, the more generalist you are, the better. The more that you can take, not a handful, but more hands, more hands that you can possibly get hold on to, that's actually acceptable. So yes, we are very conscious about grades, but there are also individuals in the organization that we're not actually particular about the grades because the role or the job does not require those types of skills. Instead, it requires the interpersonal skills, the influencing, the influential character in you, wherein you have to persuade somebody or convince somebody to say yes to a proposal or a program. So it's not a requirement, but it does says something a lot about you. But in cloud is also we value the research. Again, I want to emphasize the adventurous part and the experimentation. We are curious people in Cloudies. We like to read, we like to test it out, we like to check, we like to experiment if this it's gonna work here, and then if it doesn't, then we have to move on, move forward all the time, learn something from the past. And it doesn't even say something about your grades, right? But it does say something about how well you read, how thorough you read, and the details that we want you to explore and you consider when you are arriving at the sessions, or when you draw your own path. So we actually use those factors, educational factors, that's like I call them.
Right. Thanks, Jennifer. What about you, Raquel?
Yeah, okay. So with us is actually it's kind of bit of a requirements, but can also be not a part of the requirement. So it actually varies with the position that we have or the openings that we have. So of course, for those who are just not in a sense the entry level, but there are some positions now who is not very particular with if you're a top student or if you really did great with your grades or what. Sometimes we are after the personality, the skill set. Actually, it's very much important with us. The skill set is what we're after to, and also what you can actually bring into the table. But at the same time, the experience as well, it very much matters with us, especially like those who are in the data analytics side. We're looking for someone who will be very keen, who's very precise when it comes to data gatherings, to handling data, and then at the same time, confidential data that needs to be kept confidential. So yeah, those are the things now we're looking for, or what matters to us most. But generally speaking, sa amin, it's actually more on the skill set, what you can bring into the table, and then at the same time, the personality and the character. So long as you're a go-getter, you're willing to learn, and then at the same time, you'll embrace the changes that the company will be having. Yeah, that's what we're looking for.
And Patrick?
Okay, having good grades means that you've done your part. You've done your side of the story during your college days. Okay, even I myself, as I reflect into my younger years, it's kind of funny that I was a happy-go-lucky and lanky kind of student before, and who would have thought that that former version of me would end up being the head of recruitment of one of the country's premier organizations into the world of e-commerce. Okay, now what I'm trying to pinpoint here is that your grades doesn't define you. Okay, it just says that you've done your part. Okay, here on the company, here on Great Deals E-Commerce Corporation, what we are looking for are individuals who are hungry to make their contributions for the organizations. We are looking for people who has a clear understanding of what are their strengths and how these strengths can contribute to the company and to the betterment of the community, the organization. And we're looking for people who are gonna make us see that they are a good return of investment. So prove to us why you are a good return of investment. And definitely, if we saw that in you, if we saw that in your persona, we're willing to take a shot on you.
Right. So talagang, skill set, some basic knowledge, their potential, and of course their grit are the things that you really look for in a candidate. And speaking of candidates, do you require specific certifications, or do you even recommend certifications or online learning or online courses for your fresh graduates to take to improve their chances of getting considered in joining your organization? Let's start with you, Patrick.
Okay, it will be a plus factor. It would be additional POGI points to the candidate if they have certifications and all that kind of stuff. It just says that they are really investing into making themselves better and continue learning, continue growing. So that's a good thing. Okay. Technically speaking, for freshies or young professionals, we're not really demanding for you to have all of these credentials. Again, we would always go back to what we are looking for. Someone who's hungry, someone who's willing to learn, someone who's okay to the idea of starting from the ground if this is going to be their first time into the world of e-commerce. Someone in which we can see that it would be worth it to give it a shot for this person. So, additional credentials, certifications, that's a plus point, but not exactly it will dictate your application, and it will not dictate the chances of you being accepted, of being part of our organization. It all depends
And
on you, on how good you perform.
yeah, yeah. And Raquel,
Yeah, so with us, we don't actually require any certification, especially to those fresh graduates who's willing or interested to be part of the company. Again, it's more on the character, the skills that you have, and then at the same time, your openness to learning new things. Because this might be a good avenue for you, like a stepping stone towards to a better opportunity. Yan. And then at the same time, to learning new things, discovering new challenges or new ideas along the way. So yeah, we are not really much of requiring certifications.
and Jennifer.
Um, Certifications, acquiring certifications tells you something about what you do when you have a free time. So it may mean several things, but it's not required. But again, it's a plus points among all the candidates that are applying for that specific role. Let's say we get like in a day we get like at least 200 candidates for just one specific role, and that's what differentiates you from among all your other competitors. So it's how dedicated you are, how committed you are into becoming better. So if you have those free time and you can improve yourselves and make yourself a lot higher than the rest of the competition, it tells something about you. And if you're not just aspiring to be like an applicant, you aspire to be like one of the top 5 or top 3 individuals that you want to catch the attention of the recruiter. So in recruitment, we receive like thousands of CVs in a day. We read them every day differently. It's a unique application, and you have that chance wherein if you have those, then it's a nice to have. It's a plus points, and you also get the attention of the person who's reading your CVs. And if you apply online, there's this AI wherein there are keywords that matter. So if you have those, then it makes you like above, diba? Like you belong to the upper part of the shortlisted candidates. And who knows, that position that you're applying may not be the right one for you. There might be other roles that might be more fit to your set of interests, set of skills, and what your goals and ambitions are. So it does tell something about you. So it's for me, it's important as an HR person. I like those individuals wherein they really want to be better. They aspire and they have this outlook wherein they're 5 steps ahead of everyone else. So it gives you an insight of what type this person is. Yes, this person is a go-getter. This person is very serious about work, very serious about his goals or her goals and ambitions as well. So it is, for me, it is important. It's not required, but it's important. It plays a significant impact in your application process, especially during the application stage.
Yeah, interesting. And yeah, speaking of certifications and training, how about if an applicant is already your employee? Do you also provide, additional trainings to your employees, which are not entirely related to their roles, but just to have a continuous professional development in their area?
It actually,
Raquel?
sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
actually
sure.
depends on the organization us in CloudEats, we are a learning organization. We love
Mm-mm.
learning. And most of the time you learn through experience. Let's say if you do the 2010, wherein you do the online, you read, and also through experience. So we apply those in different ways. And especially if you have the mentorship program inside the organization. So the Gen Zs, the Gen Ys, they're really into the learning part. So yes, we aspire and we hope and we desire everyone to learn. It's a continuous learning actually effort. So if you ask me about other things that you can learn, you can, in clouds we don't have that barriers. You can actually go to the other department and participate in their project, or it's a very highly collaborative environment for you to learn as well. Yes, let's go to Raquel.
Yeah, hi Selena, sorry, I lost my connection earlier. What was your question again? Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, since we're discussing about the the certifications that you require or you recommend to your graduates or applicants, do you also have like trainings to further their professional development, which trainings that are not entirely related to their position in your organization and whatnot?
Okay, so yeah, we do offer. It's actually one of the project under our human resource department is currently working on. So we do give as much as possible. We do give webinars or trying for them to attend certain seminars that may help them grow with their career with the work that they have in order for them to be efficient and effective in their own ways, of course, with what they're doing. So yeah, it's actually part of one of the things that we are currently working on with our team.
Thanks, Rahel and Patrick.
Okay, here on Great Deals E-Commerce Corporation, we are very advocative of that idea of continuous learning, whether that would be professionally and personally. We have subjected our people to a series of learning activities from mental health to productivity, boosting your confidence, and this is really helpful for them. These are learnings that is going to be helpful not just on their professional journeys, but into their personal lives as well. Okay, so we are very embracing that idea that we need to let our people grow and blossom. And even here on the organization, if you would be experiencing that onboarding, you would really be subjected to a series of workshops and trainings that would enable you to grow personally and professionally. So that's what's waiting for you here on the organization. So if you love learning, so do we. We love learning, and let's give that opportunity for you to learn together with us.
Yeah, that's great to hear from you guys. I mean, in for graduates, one of the most important things that they need really, especially in time of pandemic, is continuous learning, even if they're in a professional environment already, right? So, connected to the pandemic, how is your organization coping with our current situation? Like, how are you making sure that your employees are well taken care of, especially now that we have several lockdowns? However, I think right now we're on alert level 2 or 3. And how is what does your employees' typical day at work look like pre-pandemic and during pandemic? Let's start with you, Raquel.
Hi, okay. So right now we are currently on a temporary work from home setup. So until further advice or further notice, a shop. But basically right now, the company or the organization doesn't have any plans because of the quarantine status kasi pataas and pababa siya, or sometimes alam mo yun, nag-iiba siya from time to time depending on the number of cases that we actually have. So currently we are on a temporary work from home setup, and then at the same time, we also provide vaccinations for our employees and to their dependents. So we do provide those things for us. And then with the kind of work setup naman, or what we call this a day-to-day. So siguro what I can suggest is mine. So like my day-to-day task. So in the morning, of course, I'll be having a lot of offline messages through our through our mode or means of communication, which is Skype. So I typically answer that one in the morning, and then at the same time I check my emails, and then during mornings what I also do is to do sourcing to through different kinds of job portals, and then at the same time in the afternoon I'm scheduling candidates for scheduled for interview and for exam. And then at the same time, in the afternoon, I'm also preparing my report because I have a weekly meeting with my boss with regards to the recruitment updates. So yeah, basically that's how my day runs on a daily basis.
Thanks, Rahel. And what about you, Patrick?
Okay. I'm proud to say that with I think this is not just with the Great Deals E-Commerce Corp, but the e-commerce industry in general. Okay. During the pandemic, if you would recall, somewhere in 2020, that was the time in which a lot of organizations was put into closure or company shutdowns, people losing jobs during that time, retrenchments, layoffs, redundation, and a whole lot of things. And that's very saddening. Okay. The e-commerce industry has proven its resilience with the pandemic. And I'm proud to say that while organizations during that time are closing, are retrenchment, laid off people, here on the organization, our problem was how are we going to grow our team? Okay. So we were able, with the growth of our company, the problem was how are we going to look for all of these people? Okay. And I would call that as a good problem on my end as the head of recruitment. While companies are losing people, our problem is how to grow our people. Okay. Now, with regards to a day-to-day life, I mean, before the day-to-day life, what have we done so far to assist our employees? Number one, we have extended a shuttle services for our people during last year in which they were still reporting to the office. So we have provided them shuttle services from point A going, I mean, from their residences going here to the office, hatid sundo process. We've also set up here an employees quartel in which people who are residing farther, quite farther, they can stay here in the office, and they can at least they have this feeling of safety that they don't have to go much often and commute. So they can stay and sleep here on the in the office. We have set up an employees quartel for them. Also, we have what they call this. We have sent out employee kits to our people, and those who are working from home, at least they can feel that even though they are not in the office, we're there with them in spirit, in presence. Okay. As far as a day-to-day life, well, I don't have a total idea of what's the day-to-day life of people coming from various departments. Again, it's a case-to-case basis. But I would have my day-to-day as an example. Okay, so as the head of recruitment, it's almost the same with Raquel. By the morning, I would track back all of these messages that I haven't replied yet, and after that, I would do my sourcing, my scheduling of candidates, those people who has applied into all the channels that we have created job advertisements. After that, it's going to be a whole day of doing interviews. So most of my days are doing interviews, talking to a lot of people. And probably by afternoon or somewhere around 3, 4 p.m. onwards, it's reports generation. And also from time to time, I do get to be pulled out to participate in meetings, in the learning sessions, in mentorship sessions. So that's my normal routine. I mean, that's what's normally happening here in the life of a recruiter in a Great Deals E-Commerce Corporation.
Great. Thanks, Patrick. And lastly, what about you, Jennifer?
Yeah, so similar with the rest of the guys here. So we're doing great. Business has never been better with CloudEats. So we grew our headcount for 300% already since January, and we keep on expanding in every 2 to 3 weeks since then. To take care of the employees, our work, like 95% of our workforce are physically reporting to the office because it's a kitchen. We provide food, that we provide delicious food for everyone. So our work, we have a great health package for them. So we have this partnership with the number one HMO, of course, provider in the organization. We do observe, of course, the physical distancing, social distancing, all the cleaning that you would want to ensure that everyone's clean. We even also bought like an AI CCTV camera wherein it audits how well you are complying with how many minutes you wash your hands. Are you wearing masks? So it's like a big brother inside the operations, just to ensure that everyone is safe and we do not get that do not get sick. But of course, some people really get that virus, but it's not that malala. Usually, they just like 1 to 2 days that just the minor symptoms. We do allow them to um, stay at home and not come to work anymore when they are experiencing these symptoms. I think one of the challenges that we had was when they implemented the granular lockdown, wherein even if you would want to go to work, you just cannot because let's say the local LGUs will prohibit them from going out of their house. So and everyone covers for someone who is absent or is sick, and we had to hire more people to cover those who are going to be sick. And we also bought vaccines for them. We enrolled them in the vaccination program under the company, and simultaneous with the LGUs. And of course, you cannot actually estimate that everyone will sign up because of in reality, some would back out, some would withdraw, some would get scared to get vaccinated, and some would prefer to go to their LGUs only to find out that LGUs will be delayed. So we had to enroll them again to another LGU and another partner just to ensure that we get 100% fully vaccinated workforce. So we do get free testing kits. We're like a production of that antigen test in the office, wherein every site has it, and just to keep everyone safe and peace of mind that you will not get infected. We test all employees within the vicinity with anyone who got in contact with the person in the workforce. So so far we have not gone we have no record actually that someone got positive in the work area. Usually they got it through travel, by traveling. So it's actually we're very vigilant, and that's the right word. We're very vigilant with this virus. And another good thing about the pandemic is that since we keep on expanding, we expand geographically. So we CloudEats has actually built cloud kitchens within different areas within NCR and outside NCR, and these places are much nearer to the place to the residences of our some most of our employees. So we allow them to transfer, just to shorten that distance. We allow them to transfer their work location from, let's say, we go as far as like Manila going to Cainta. So we were surprised that people are living there in Cainta and then coming to Manila, and then we also have like the San Juan going to San Pedro Laguna. So it's a really a good thing that Cloudis is opening externally. One of the industries that got affected by the pandemic is the food and beverage hospitality industry, and we're very happy, and we're actually sort of fulfilled in the recruitment sector, wherein we actually give them a lot of opportunities. So every time we open a site, we hire, let's say, 30 to 40 employees per site, and we have opened like 5 sites in the last 2 to 3 months already. And in the next 2 weeks, we're gonna open 3 more sites simultaneously in the different areas of the Philippines. So really, it's a good thing. So we're that we offer stability in for that food and beverage sector. So it's really self-fulfilling when you get comments that we're in new hires will say that they're very happy even if these are trade jobs. These are skilled workers who are able to sleep at night because they know that they will not lose their jobs, and there's a steady income coming from CloudEats. That's what's happening with us in Cloud Eats, specifically the recruitment. We're so busy with recruitment. The typical day of work. So I'm glad to say that in Cloud Eats we have rules, management rules for fresh graduates. We do hire fresh graduates as for our operations manager roles. So we have those slots dedicated for those fresh graduates. The typical work with them is that uh, we operate 24 by 7 and we never close. So the typical day would be just to do the line checks, just to check everyone's health. That's actually the number one priority. And HR is very strict with how long you work at the office, because longer hours means you get susceptible to the virus, and we don't want that to happen. So that's for the those who are working actually on site. While for the others who are on work from home, we're just like around 30 employees in our 400 head count. So we are the ones in the work from home. And what we do is that we check on each other. We check on again, feedback is very important in our organization. So we have a scheduled feedback session in different groups. The in Cloud Eats, because we are geographically very far from each other, HR should be very close to these people. The farther you go away from Makati in our site, the closer we have to get to you. So we make ourselves available 24 by 7. 365 days a week. So we have those in HR. We do shifting in HR just to ensure that we get everyone's just to get sure that are able to respond to our employees. Most of the concerns are really health issues, are really about usually the HR operations part. But these are very important issues, and we can only answer them while they're at work. So it's actually at night time. So that's actually our typical day at the office.
All right, thanks guys. At least our participants have an idea na, no, on what it looks like working with your organization. So before we go to the Q&A part, since we have a couple of questions coming in from our participants, I'd like to ask you one last question. So in one sentence, the why should our participants apply to your organization? Let's start with you, Patrick.
Okay. I don't think it can be compiled in one sentence. But these are the factors for me to convince you to give it a shot and be part of Great Deals E-Commerce Corporation. Number one, you get exposure to trends into the world of e-commerce and the world of digitalization. So you will be really exposed to a lot of those. Number two, learn and be mentored by seasoned professionals in their respective crafts. So if you are someone who's hungry to learn, we have a lot of seasoned individuals here, and they are very much willing to teach you, to coach you, to mentor you, show you the ropes until such time that they are confident that you are able to perform whatever it is that you are about to do. Okay, in terms of the environment, what we have here is a very collaborative working environment. I'm proud to say that it is very much evident that sense of collaboration here on the organization. A lot of the workforce population here is the Gen Zs, the millennials, and we also have people on the older generation. These are people on the same age group as me. So these are people who are guiding, who are mentoring the young ones, and we have that healthy collaborative environment. And I think that sense of collaboration is one of the key factors that's enabling us to achieve and produce milestones for the organization. It's a collaborative effort of each and everyone. It's not just the output of one man. Each and every one of us here is contributing to it. Okay. The next is that you get to be recognized for the contributions that you are bringing into the organization. If you've done something good, if you've achieved a milestone, if you are able to produce an achievement, we will have that be celebrated and we will recognize you for what you've done for the organization. And I think that's very important for you to have that recognition from the organization. Okay. And the most important thing is that since the e-commerce industry is shaping the future of consumerism, of retail and shopping, what we are doing now is that we are creating what would be the future. Okay, so given that kind of opportunity, if you would be a part of the Great Deals e-commerce team, you have that opportunity to create the future. And will you create that future with us? And another thing, probably the last one, we have a hybrid work setup here, which means it is a mix of reporting on site depending on your preference and work from home. So it's really up to you if you would like to do it from work from home or you would like to report in the office. The office is always open and ready to welcome our people whenever they wish to report to the office. So those are the key points that I'd like to highlight for you to consider exploring a career with Great Deals E-Commerce Corporation. And I'm looking forward for you expressing your intent of wanting to being part of our growing family.
All right. Thanks, Patrick. Ano na, hindi na siya one sentence.
Kulang yung one
And
sentence.
Kulang yung one sentence.
Sorry, Celine.
It's okay. So, what about you, Raquel? Why? Why should they apply? Yeah.
Okay, so I guess baka mag more than one sentence din ako. So sorry in advance sa inyo. Okay, so I guess the good thing or one of the reason why you should guys, try to explore opportunities with us is that even though we are a startup company, as I've said, we just recently started last 2018. There are lots of room for improvement, for growth, but actually our management or the people on the top management are seasoned people already in the industry, in the e-commerce and retail industry. They actually came from those big names, if like Shopee, Lazada. Yeah, so very much known na sila on how the industry runs. So, like giving knowledge or parang giving you information on how to do things, what would be the best ways to do these kinds of things and whatsoever. I guess, you can really learn a lot from those people. And then at the same time, we are very a diversified kind of culture because we actually have people who are also from Vietnam, or some are actually one of our person from the sea level is actually a different kind of nationality as well. But despite those different cultures that we have, we are very much working collaboratively because we always want to secure that we will be having a harmonious kind of environment, a healthy one, wherein, because we treat everyone as a family. So that's the thing that matters to us most. And then at the same time, the learnings that you'll be able to learn from us. So yeah, there are lots of rooms for improvements, for growth. And yeah, we would also want to grow our employees with us as the company grows as well. So it's a vice versa kind of thing. So yeah.
Thanks, Raquel. And Jennifer?
I'm actually not, I'm not exclusive, so I'm more to the inclusive type. So if you want to join any organization that you would want to join, and I believe in passion. So you may not be the right, you may not have the right passion here or there because we are in food and beverage. I'm not a foodie, but I'm in food and beverage in the platform. But I like technology. That's why I'm in CloudEats. It's technology that drives me here in CloudEats. But again, it depends on you. So if I'm the adventurous type, I'm so happy here in CloudEats. I like experimenting. I'm data driven. I'm in technology, and I'm here actually in CloudEats. It doesn't necessarily mean that I know how to cook. I don't even understand. I can't even bake. So, I'm not that food expert. I did not come from a food and beverage industry. I'm not in an hospitality industry type of person. But I know I'm in HR. I want to help. I want to navigate. I'm very good in navigating and helping individuals and finding solutions to people problems. And that's why I love it here in cloud. Is if you're the type of person who is not defined or is not boxed with a specific set of work that you just want to do this ABC and you don't want to do DEF. So e-commerce is actually not the not the ideal organization for you, because in e-commerce industries, you really have to be as generalist as open as possible in any challenges, in any changes that the company will go, will actually take on. So that's my take on your question.
All right. Thanks, Jennifer. So thank you guys for, answering some of my, for this panel discussion that we have. So conscious of time here, I'll just be, asking you 3 questions from our participants, and then you can also actually type your answer if you weren't able to answer that specific question, right? Does that sound good? All right. Okay, so for Raquel, we have a question here. As HR practitioners, what are the daily struggles that you saw in the employees in which employee resilience seemed to be out of their reach, considering that the e-commerce industry is very fast-paced and ever-changing? Do your employees have any struggles? Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess the struggles that we actually have when it comes to recruitment or sourcing, it depends kasi with the kind of position that we are actually looking for. One of siguro I can share a personal experience of mine. So siguro it's with our engineering or IT team kasi especially with the IT. Right now kasi we are looking for a Magento developer. So Magento kasi right now are very much rare pa here in the Philippines. Meron na across the country, but we are prioritizing kasi who are locally based. So right now there are just very few people in the market who is actually Magento certified. So it's actually like, one of the struggles that we are actually encountering right now, especially ako, because I am actually a solo recruiter right now under Snapmart. So yeah, pero with the other positions naman that we have, it's a very much readily available in the market. So yeah, I hope I answered the question.
All right. Thanks, Raquel. And
Yeah.
for Patrick, what since you've mentioned earlier that you offer trainings or programs for your employees, do you also offer mental health assistance? And what are the example programs of your workshops and trainings? You're on mute.
Okay.
Yeah.
So ayun. So one of the things that we have, programs that we have created here for the organization is that we have extended our HMO so it can cater to mental health assistance. So we have expanded the services of our HMO, and we have included mental aid or mental first aid, in which people can explore those services. Originally, that's not included into our package, but we saw that it's very important for our people to have those kind of resources that's catering to their mental health. And the reception of the people with those services are very positive. Okay, in terms of learnings and initiatives of the organization, one of the most recent, and this is one of the things that I love with the mental health program that we have, is this lecture or a workshop that we've had that discusses, I think the main topic was the art and the science of acceptance, in which we are able to face the reality of the things that we need to accept with this current tough times. So we have subjected ourselves on how are we going to accept these realities within our environment and within ourselves, and what can we take into action in order for us to have that steady and a healthy mental state. So those are one of the things that I personally love. I personally benefited from that. So these are just some of the things that you can expect from our organization. So yes, we understand the importance of our people learning and growing personally and professionally, but that also includes the idea that we care for our people in terms of their mental health and their mental status as well.
Thanks, Patrick. And last question before we go to our speaking slot here. For Jennifer, what are the common questions asked during the interview when applying to a food and beverage industry, but in e-commerce?
Okay, so I'm reading the question is
Mm-mm.
specifically for finance. So
Finance, yeah.
finance is an exact science. You have to be as accurate as you can. So definitely they will ask about experience, knowledge, governing regulations that you've had on or you're knowledgeable of. And aside from knowledge, actual experiences will help because that's finance. Have to follow. You have to follow. You have to comply. And aside from that, again, we are a data-driven. We are into the adventurous, curious individual type of mentality. So we ask questions about things that you want to. You are very curious of. So we want to know, aside from those information, also what have you done to address satisfy actually your curiosity. So we also deal a lot with technology, and because it makes things faster, it makes experimentation faster. So technology experience with technology will actually really help you land that finance job.